Korea, a miraculous country. 50 years ago, they used to be one of the poorest countries in the world, with the national income it was about only $50. But they absolutely trained after the war. They grew strongly and rapidly to become the 10th strongest economy of the world. Nowadays, they are globally popular with their cuisine, electronics, sport, K-pop, and fashion. So, how did they do their success? What can we learn from this country? Please follow us.
Hello everyone, we are team number 4 and my name is Phạm Phương Thảo. Today we are going to interview a Korean living in Vietnam about working culture of Vietnamese and Korean. Now let's follow us to see her. 우리 초대를 수락했으니까 감사합니다. 이 사람들이 우리 대학교의 친구들입니다. 지금 우리 인터뷰를 할 수 있어요? 지금 볼 수 있어요? 해주세요. 네, 선생님의 전체 이름이 뭐예요? 전체 이름이?
제 이름은 황성희입니다.
한국에서 어디서 사세요?
한국의 서울에 살고 있어요.
그럼 베트남에서
지금 베트남에서 한국어를 가르치고 있어요.
저는 대한민국 발전하고 있는 것을 알고 한국 사람들이 항상 정말 열심히 하는데요. 한국 사람이 일을 어떻게 해요? 저희한테 설명할 수 있을 거예요.
한국 사람들은 일을 정말 열심히 해요. 아침에 새벽처럼 일어나서 새벽같이 일어나서 이제 회사에 가서 늦게까지 일을 하는데 보통 야근이라는 것이 있어요. 야근이 있는데 야근을 하게 되면 집에 가면 12시, 1시가 되기도 하고요. 그래서 한국, 베트남이랑 좀 다르게 새벽 그리고 밤에 활동을 하는 사람들이 많아요. 저녁에는 이제 빌딩에도 불빛이 아주 많이 있는데 그런 것들 보면은 지금 다들 밤에 일을 하고 있구나 그런 생각을 할 수 있게 일을 열심히 하고 있어요.
선생님은 언제부터 베트남에 왔지요?
올해 초에 왔어요. 올해 초에 한 1년 정도 됐어요.
그러면 베트남 사람에게 일을 하는 방법에 어떻게 생각하세요?
보통 이제 베트남 사람들과 한국 사람이 일을 하는 방법이 좀 많이 달라요. 제가 느끼기에는 한국 사람은 책임감이라는 게 굉장히 강하기 때문에 이 일을 하게 되면 내가 그 일을 꼭 해야지 그 다음 사람에게 줄 수 있어요. 그래서 그 순서가 딱딱딱딱 되고 베트남 사람과의 조금의 차이라면 책임이라는 것에 대해서 좀 많이 차이가 있는 것 같아요.
그러니까 베트남 사람과 한국 사람의 일하는 방법과 차이들이 있는데요. 어느 차이가 선생님께 제일 커요?
이제 일을 하게 되면 약속?
My full name is Stephen Groff.
Yeah. And when did you live in the American?
I lived in America until 2006.
Yes.
Can we ask you about your current work in Vietnam?
Yes. Right now I'm working for a tourism company called Crew. There is I do some writing for their website, advertisements or descriptions of the different destinations that they have tours to. I've worked there for about more than 2 years now. Before that, here in Vietnam, I did mostly copy editing work. I worked for several newspapers and a couple of other websites and magazines where they were all in English. Most of them were translated into English by Vietnamese, and then I would just go over the articles and clean up the English.
What is your name? What is your company name?
It's called Hai Viet Nữ.
What?
Hai Viet Nữ.
Viet Nữ.
Đó là tên của một loại hoa. It's not common, I guess.
Years, and today we want to interview you about the different work culture between Vietnamese and foreigner American. The first question: how many, in your opinion, how many different about work culture between Vietnamese and American like you?
I think the working culture is, there are some things that are quite different. Maybe the biggest difference that I see is the importance of personal relationships. So in Vietnam, I see that in order to do business with someone and have a business relationship with someone, your personal relationship is a very important part of that. Of course, in the West, in America, it's also important, and if you have a business relationship and a personal relationship as well, that will, of course, strengthen that. But it's not seen as really necessary, whereas here, at least in some cases, it almost is necessary, I think. The personal aspect of having a business relationship with someone.
And so, what is the difference that you think that it is the hardest to adapt to?
The hardest to adapt to. It may be that aspect of the importance of the personal relationship. Of course, there are differences like the way that people approach time, is different here in Vietnam. It's more flexible, and that flexibility with time is accepted, very easily. Whereas in the West, too much flexibility of that kind, can put people off. It might get in the way of a business relationship, whereas it wouldn't do that here. That's something that is often one of the first things that people would see in trying to do business here in Vietnam. I wouldn't say is necessarily the most important, but it would be part of that thing, that part of the process of adapting to the way of doing business here is, understanding that.
The next, we want to ask you about. I know that in America they work in teamwork very well. And how about Vietnamese? What do you think?
It's interesting that you say that the Americans work in teamwork very well, because I think a lot of people would say that as a result of the education system, the strength of American workers would be more of independent thought. And in fact, I think the strength of Vietnamese students and workers, once they finish school, is the ability to work together. I think Vietnamese are much more comfortable. Like when they start working for business, they will. They're much more comfortable, like identifying themselves with that organization. And so, in that sense, I would say that they're very good. Vietnamese are very good at teamwork, and in general, I might say, better than American students, better prepared for that type of work. And I think it's a result of the education system, where here that a lot of the work you do in school requires teamwork and cooperation. And of course, we have that as well in the States. But the emphasis is on, like, your grade is based on the things that you individually can do and perform and demonstrate that you know, more so than demonstrating how you can work together with others. So yeah, I think the Vietnamese, in terms of teamwork, are well prepared.
Thank you. So the last question is between America and Vietnamese countries, what do you like?
What do I like?
Yeah.
Oh, do I have to choose one? I don't think I can choose one. But I can say that in Vietnamese culture, the things that I like about Vietnamese culture that are why I like to live here, are, as I mentioned earlier, the flexibility with time. That's a little bit of a relaxed approach to scheduling is something I appreciate. And I would say the lifestyle of, again, as I was talking earlier about relationships, the lifestyle of the fact that your relationships, whether they're business or in your family, are more important than being on schedule, for example, and maybe more important than the details of a contract, which is something as doing business you have to get used to, but that if you understand that flexibility is because of personal relationships, that I would definitely see as a positive side of Vietnamese culture that I can enjoy.
So thank you, Mr. Stephen, for taking time to our interview. Yeah.
Well, you're welcome. Happy to talk to you.
Thank you.
Team number 4, and my name is Phạm Phương Thảo. This is Miss Y, and today we are going to interview her about the difference about working culture between Vietnamese and foreigners. Hi, Miss Y. Nice to meet you. You are working for a foreign company, and having a same company with Mr. Stephen Grove. And in your opinion, there are how many differences between about working culture between Vietnamese and foreigner?
I've been working for a foreign company for almost 2 years, and in my opinion, there are a lot of differences. But I can name that there are 3 biggest
differences. The first is the hierarchy in the company. I mean, it's the gap between the boss and the staff. In Vietnamese company, you can see it is very big gap. The boss is the boss, but the staff is the staff. The boss will give order, and the staff will just follow. But in foreign company, the boss and staff really they can be friends. And the second difference that I can see is that the foreigners they really focus on the working efficiency. That means they really don't care about your working time. As long as you finish all the tasks, so then you can manage your working time. But in Vietnamese company, you have to follow once the check-in time, the check-out time, and then you can the working time is really long, but then the working efficiency is not really high. I mean, it's not very effective. So, yeah. And in foreign company, they really give you the power. Within your position, you can decide, you can have your own decision. But in Vietnamese company, you always have to ask your boss. And if your boss is not around, then it's really take time. Yeah. So that's the three most biggest differences that I can see.
Is it different that you like the most? The different that make you the most comfortable?
Well, for me, the thing I like most when working for a foreign company is that the empowerment. That means they give you the authority. What you have to do and what is the priority. So, yes, and then you respect the deadline. As long as you meet the deadline, that is okay.
Thank you. And the next question. How do you think teamwork culture between Vietnamese and foreign?
In my opinion, there is really a difference between in the teamwork between Vietnamese and foreign people. Foreigners they tend to work more efficient in the teamwork because they used to working independently. But that doesn't mean they cannot cooperate. They are more responsible for what they have to do. While Vietnamese people, we are used to giving tasks, and we tend to lean on other people. There is saying that this is a teamwork, but other people they will take care of other tasks, so I don't have to really care about it. That leads to really no effective in the teamwork between Vietnamese staff within the company.
Working culture make you like them?
Well, I think for different people with different personality, they will have a different idea. But for me, I like to work for a foreign company because the working environment is more professional and they are really focusing on developing your ability. They will send you to a lot of training to develop your career. And
Many thanks to you about spending time with our team. Many thanks.
you're welcome. Không người ơi, một quay thì giống